Cube Zoom. Welcome back to another episode of Blockchain Basement. My name, oh, you can see my lunch. My name is TJ, and we're going to be having a great, fun episode here today. We've got some fun Bit Squad guest visitors. We've got an invisible DZ will be joining us here shortly. We've got Derek Scott. No relation to Michael Scott, joining us here today. He's been in the Bit Squad for quite some time. Joey Daniel says, hey, TJ, and I missed you guys Friday. Sorry I wasn't here the last couple of days. Had something come up last minute on Friday. Was planning on being here, but missed you guys. Happy to be back today. So real quick, going to do the rundown. Razmataz, Crypto Caravan Company, Crypto Billy, Nakadu, Manawak, Corey Harden with the big shout out. Everybody had that good, saw that tweet over the weekend, Corey. Big shout out to you. Razmataz, Music Maiden, Piccolo Rick, got my eye on you. Nakadu, Joey Daniel, Ariel for Life, welcome back. Here comes DZ right now, going to be joining us. So,
what up, DZ?
Boom, there he is. A wild DZ has appeared. DZ, this is Derek, and I don't know if you guys met earlier.
No, it's kind of weird, just like big fan. You
big
know,
fan, yeah.
Instantly, like right here, like, oh my god, my real voice sounds like this.
Yeah.
He's a real boy.
And guys, give a lot of love. Check out Derek. He's an up and coming content creator. One thing you'll learn, you got to pull that mic a little bit closer, get it in front of you, because you're going to be looking probably this way, so you want it on the far side.
Right up in it.
I'll help you
right there.
I'm the show's mic adjuster.
The mic fluffer.
Yeah, the fluffer.
Okay.
It was coming. I'm
Move
back.
it as needed.
Yeah.
Sweet.
All right, this is where you come to watch TJ adjust microphones. So no, that's a different channel. It comes on much later. No, just kidding. We're gonna have some interesting things to talk about today. We're gonna wrap up. This is one of the more interesting articles I saw. Top 5 crypto winners and losers of 2022, which, you know, and I'll be interested to see. We're gonna take some guesses on. Oh, good. DZ's got to get the gloves on. It's cold down here, so. Yeah, we're going to see what some of the top winners were and losers of 2022. But I wanted to start, this was an interesting thing here where we had Forbes marking down some billionaires that were on the list marked at 0. They've, Sam Bankman-Fried getting marked down, Gary Wang getting marked down. No surprise there, but Barry Silbert. Interesting. Hopefully that's not a foreshadowing of something with Digital Currency Group, something to come there. But real quick, I wanted to read this thing. If you guys haven't figured it out yet, I'm very intrigued and, I don't know what the right word is, intrigued, almost obsessed with ChatGPT. I've been playing with a lot, very fascinated with the different things you can do with it. So I wanted to read this off. Is
it an iambic pentameter? Did we check?
I don't know what that means, PJ. Okay. You want to explain it to the audience?
Give us the definition of iambic pentameter.
I don't remember. So Shakespeare.
Okay. Then what are you costing him for?
Yeah.
Is it 5 syllables per line? No, God, no.
Oh, that's I gotta
look it up.
Soliloquy or a sonnet or a parallelogram. I can't remember. I don't know. I haven't been in school in a long time.
Did you give the definition of a haiku just now? I was reading.
That's 575.
575. Yeah.
I thought that's what you said.
Line of verse with 5 metrical feet.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
There you go. So I just wanted to read this one off.
Your ear, pick your nose, eat your boogers.
Yeah, just don't grab your. Well, never mind. How William Shakespeare would explain Bitcoin. Oh, how the mighty Bitcoin doth rise. Here, we'll push in on this. A shining beacon in the digital skies, a currency born of the code and math, a triumph of innovation, a true aftermath of centuries spent toiling in the fields of finance to find a way to free our wealth from chance. Satoshi Nakamoto, a name now known, hath brought us forth a new way to own. Gone are the days of coins and notes, of bankers, greed, and endless floats. With Bitcoin, we are masters of our fate, no longer slaves to interest rates. But beauty doth rest in numbers alone. Oh, but beauty doth not rest in numbers alone. For Bitcoin doth bring us a world unknown, a world where borders fall and freedom reigns, where the power of people finally reigns. So let it. Oh, two different reigns. Interesting. Reigns with a G and reigns without a G. So let us sing the praises. Wait, let us sing the praises of this noble coin and the vision of one who dared to join the forces of the past with the dreams of the future. For in Bitcoin we have found a new and true culture. William Shakespeare. So I thought that was pretty good for AI in the Shakespeare. Basically,
pretty good.
How would William Shakespeare explain Bitcoin? I thought that was pretty good, and I just thought it'd be a fun way to start us off. Read it in the. Just for fun. But now this was interesting. I do want to. So I will tell you this. I'm going to be doing a lot more playing with ChatGPT. I've had it do a lot of writing about crypto in general, and it's been very intriguing to me. I think I've got about 20 or 30 different scripts knocked out that I'm going to try to record and just do it just as ChatGPT. I'll probably put it on this channel, maybe call it Crypto GPT or something like that.
Here's how you do it. Here's how you do it. TJ or a robot, and you read it to Ben, and you say, Ben, was this me or was it a robot?
Right. Well, no, I'm going to do the whole thing as the robot, basically. Like everything is ChatGPT, and I'm just the face and the voice of it, and everything is written by the robot. I will say if I tweak anything, I will note it, but I'm going to do the best I can to not tweak anything so we can tell exactly what the robot is. But this is something that we have to be careful with, and this is something Alex Gleidstein points out. What happens when you ask ChatGPT to justify the repression of the... How do you say that, BJ?
Don't ask me.
Uyghurs by the CCP.
Uyghurs.
Does it also refuse to fulfill the request? So this is, it does right now. It does have some biases, and I want to point this out. This isn't an end-all, be-all. It is programmed by humans. It does have a lot of information that it can pull on, but it's still going to have certain leanings, certain biases. So I just want people to be wary. This is a great tool. You can do a lot with it, but it's not infallible. It's just like... It might be a different way of search like Google, but it just like Google can return all sorts of different results that are going to have biases based on the author. ChatGPT can do similar things, so just keep that in mind. But it's very, very fascinating, all the different stuff it can do. So also, yeah, wanted to hear from you guys what your Christmas holidays are like. Did anybody get any crypto-related Christmas presents? DZ, anything crypto-related?
No, not at all.
Derek?
For myself, yes.
Yes, what'd you get?
More crypto.
More crypto. All right, what'd you buy?
Bought more ADA.
Yeah.
Bought some XRP, some more Bitcoin, and of course Ethereum.
Okay,
Nice.
yeah, buying yourself
Good
crypto
choices.
as a Christmas present, especially in bear markets, always a good year. Let's see, Manawak said he got some new crypto t-shirts. Joseph Cupidor said, Allie, how was your Christmas? Anything interesting happen?
Yeah. It was great. Anything interesting? Not really.
No, just a basic Christmas.
Yeah.
Let's see, I was told
Was
not...
TJ blushing when she answered that?
I'm always blushing. I was told not to talk about crypto from my kids. I got some stuff
Aw.
that's...
Well, let them know that orphanage exists then.
Cardano shirt, Algo shirt, show me your seed phrase shirt. Nice, Manawak. That's a good one. Let me see. Did I get anything crypto related? Oh, I got somebody. So my parents always buy troy ounce silver coins. A lot of times they have Bitcoin related themes and stuff like that on there. So it's not quite Bitcoin related, but it is Bitcoin related at the same time. Oh, somebody got the Frankie Candle shirt. Nice.
Sweet.
Nice.
Awesome. Well, cool. Guys, buy crypto presents for people. I didn't do it this year. Generally, I do. It's a good good time.
Gift you can do.
Yeah, it's the greatest way to onboard somebody into crypto is getting them a crypto related Christmas present. So
A gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, I may or may not have pre-ordered 50 copies of Catching Up to Crypto.
oh heck yeah, 50 copies of catching up to crypto.
So I
There you
put
go.
in some envelopes like, your Christmas present will be here in a couple weeks.
Okay. there you go.
Nice.
Well, Derek, let me ask you this while we got you
Yeah.
here, and pull that mic a little closer. I'm sure BJ. Yeah,
Yep,
there you
right
go.
here.
Perfect.
We're good.
Anytime we have somebody from the Bit Squad join on the basement, I like to get a little bit of background from them. Kind of how did you come to crypto? What made it stand out to you, and kind of what got you to sitting on this couch here today? So just fill everybody in real quick. Kind of how did you first find crypto? What drew you to it, or what kept you here? And then we'll go from there.
So to be honest, at the beginning, funny story. My wife, who is sitting
Just off camera
over there, 2012, or it was actually right before that. It was like 2010, 2011 area. I had the opportunity to put $500 into Bitcoin, and unfortunately, back then I was paycheck to paycheck. You know, living paycheck to paycheck. It was rough, honestly. I mean, everybody's been there. You know, not far removed from it, really.
Right.
But my wife, you know, she said, you know, we're not gonna spend our last $500 on Mario money.
Yeah.
She called it Mario money, you know. So that's what I've thought of Bitcoin and since then. But my dad actually brought it up again in conversation back in 2020. He was like, "Hey, you know, I've been getting into mining a little bit. So, you know, you need to start looking into it." Started sending me stuff, and literally the first YouTube video I watched on it was BitBoy Crypto, was the Bit Squad stuff. So, I just started watching from them. I got into crypto really hardcore. I would say about right at the end of 2020, 2021, like January 2021 was literally when I bought my first Ethereum. It was like $1,200, $1,300.
Okay, yeah, like right when it was ramping up.
Right when it's ramping up, and then like I saw it kept going up. So February I went in heavy,
Right.
and then like I got to ride it for a little bit up to about April, May, and then Ben kept saying to take profits, and I didn't.
You did, that was my next question. Did you take any profits at any point?
I did a little bit, but I was still so new on that.
June and July.
Yeah,
that May crash happened. I got terrified. I took it all out. Bought it.
Yeah, seriously, no joke. Whenever like you get to that point, and you're like, I'm not gonna sell. I'm not gonna sell. I'm not gonna sell.
Yeah.
And then you end up selling.
Yeah.
And then you're like, crap, why did I do that? And instantly of why everyone says not to do it is what happens every time.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
without fail. So now I've got half of my money sitting on the sidelines. A DCA probably about $200 to $500 every couple of weeks or so. Maybe every week. Every other day, something like that. Just here and there.
So now you've learned DCA is the way for you.
DCA is the way for me.
Yeah.
Because I can't ever time anything right except for the bottom whenever I sell.
Well, it sounds like you're timing your DCAs right because you're accumulating now in a bear market.
That I am, and teaching my kids about it, doing as much as I can. And I do want to say thank you to you guys for letting me be on here.
Yeah.
It is kind of surreal for me because here I am. I didn't even get to meet DZ yet, and I'm like a huge fan. And he's sitting right next. He's sitting right next
There
to
you
me.
go.
And then TJ's
You
right
can
here.
touch him.
BJ's over
Okay.
here.
Yeah.
Your wife.
Yeah, Allie.
Allie. I
Yeah.
almost said Ellie, but I want to say Allie.
No, we're a family here, and that's part of what we love doing. Anytime people want to come visit, hang out, just talk crypto. That's what we do.
No, for sure.
Like,
you mind if I rant for a second?
go ahead, hit me with a rant.
So I wanted to talk to all the people real quick that always get on to Ben. I am a real person, by the way. I'm here by my own accord. Honestly, I don't know how it
there is
happened.
no wife over there. He made that up.
Yeah, no, she's not over there, and those are fake laughs.
She's real. I could see her.
But I messaged Ben randomly on Twitter, and I just kept going back and forth with him, and I was like, I wonder if this is really actually Ben. And sure enough, it was. And he was like, I was like, hey, I appreciate everything you do. Pretty much saying everything that everybody always says to him that he's always heard. So I'm like, how can I be different? And sure enough, I wasn't different. But anyways, it landed me here, and here I am. I joked about wanting to rant, and he said, oh, we'll see if you can go in the basement with TJ. And next thing you know, I'm here.
there you go. And you just gave a rant.
Yep. And so my point is, hey, all of you guys, this is what getting your butt off the couch does. No pun intended.
Yeah. Get you on a different couch.
It's just to do it, just to get going. I've always been scared of being that guy that is just going to be like everyone else. I've always been scared of that. I've always been scared of like somebody saying, hey, he's trying to be like this person, trying to be like that person. And honestly, I feel I have found out that I don't need to be that. Don't need to do that.
Just don't be like riddled with puns, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, no, for
Kidding,
sure.
we love you.
No, just be yourself. And I think there's a good lesson in that. Action pays. Getting out, taking action, whether you're moving off the couch, whether you're making your first video. That was when our conversation earlier. That's what I was saying. Like, if you're passionate about starting something, the number one thing I tell most people is just do it. Make your first video. Take that first step in that right direction. And fear is the number one thing that paralyzes most people. It'll hold you in one place when ironically staying in one place is oftentimes the most dangerous thing to do. So if you want to stay ahead of that curve, you need to keep moving, take action, take risks, especially if you're young. You learn more from, trade-offs, risk and reward, trial and error than you do from thinking about what might happen.
Hey, TJ, why don't you just quote the Bene Gesserit mothers?
Why don't you do it? I don't know what the Ben
Fear is a
guess.
mind killer.
What? Fear is a mind killer?
From
It
Dune.
really is.
It was a terrible Dune reference he just made.
It was so good.
It really is. And all
It
of
is, yeah.
all of the people that, and where I was going with it was all of the people that sit there and call Ben out all the time. I see it in the comments. I see it on all the videos. And me, out of like millions of followers you guys have, I'm like, how can I make a difference? So I'm in the comment section always trying to defend Ben. And I feel like I'm doing nothing, but honestly, it's something.
No, you're a true
No,
Bit
it
Squad
does
member.
mean a lot.
Yeah.
I'll say that personally speaking. I got a lot of flack. It was a week or two at this point, and it was over. We had a different structure for an NFT show, and we put it on the main channel, and I received a large portion of crap from the community. And when I see, a Twitter thread and, oh, look at these idiots, they're just trying to scam their fans, when it was nothing like that whatsoever. We went to NFT NYC and we forgot to say, hey, this video is brought to you by this one project. We say it on every other video. It was, if you kind of had a brain, it was pretty clear from the get-go, like, oh, clearly this is kind of a sponsor segment, but we didn't say it. And I apologize for that. I take responsibility for that. But when I'm on a Twitter thread and I see 20 people crapping on us, saying how I hate all of them, but I see that one Bit Squad member saying, to be fair, I watch this channel every day. They're, they seem pretty genuine. They're open. It means a lot. I really appreciate it. It prevents me from getting disheartened. And so I want to thank the Bit Squad members who do take their time and fight against the current.
Yeah.
Because it's real easy to say, you did a sponsored video 14 months ago and you got 6% of the money. You're a scammer. Yeah. And it's just not true.
It also, just clear bias on the internet. There's many more people, people tend to have a stronger motivation to spew hatred than to say something positive or leave a like or a positive comment. Say, oh, like, hey, thanks for doing this. Now, I will say, guys, on this channel and on these comments, you guys leave such positive comments, and I actually read and respond to all of them. So really appreciate you guys leaving comments. Everybody here says, love the channel, love what you guys are bringing forward. Not everybody, but almost everybody. So we really appreciate that. Guys, if you want to see this live, you need to join us on twitch.tv. Otherwise, if you're seeing this anywhere else, please like, share, subscribe, do all the things. Let other people know this is going to be the top crypto show in 2023, 2024. So real quick, I want to keep us moving along here. I had a article I wanted to cover touching on some of the stuff Derek was talking about, 5 behavioral biases to watch out for while investing in crypto. You actually touched on a couple of them, and I think they're pretty good for you guys to keep in mind as we're moving into 2023. There's a lot of really good opportunities in front of us, so we want you guys to stay focused on this. But these are extremely common mistakes that almost everybody makes, both definitely if you're new, but even veterans, you can, these are very easy traps to fall into. Number one, and I think there's very clear coins we could even point to for every single one of these. So number one, overconfidence bias. According to studies, overconfident traders trade more frequently, fail to diversify their portfolios appropriately, exposing themselves to far greater risks and possible losses. So like you'll hear Ben and Frank talk about all the time, be patient, let the trades come to you, don't overtrade, because every time you have an open trade, you've got risk on it. If you don't have any open trades, there's literally no downside risk. So if you wait till you're going to hit, that's a much better strategy than, oh, hey, I've hit 6 out of my last 8, I'm going to just open up another one because I'm on a roll. It's also very, in Bitcoin, it's very easy when we've got a strong uptrend bias. Like you can talk about everybody at 60K, 60, you were talking about watching it go up to 40, 50, 60K. Oh, it's definitely going to hit 100K, right? Like I watched it go all the way from, 20 to 40 to 60 to 70. And then you get overconfident that it's going to keep going and you don't take those profits. So that's a very clear one. Herd behavior bias. And this, again, guys, if you're watching social media, this is extremely common, whether you're learning from YouTubers, people in the chat, TikTok. The first thing that came to my mind is Shiba Inu. Herd behavior bias occurs when investors follow others' decisions rather than making their own based on financial data and their own research. So I would argue, now this is going to hurt, guys. If you hold Shiba Inu, just, I'm just saying, you probably bought it because you heard somebody else did it. You heard information from somebody else. You didn't go do any research of the financial data on your own and come to the conclusion that this is a good investment. You just came to the conclusion, hey, a lot of people are buying this. I'm told it's going to go up. I'm going to follow the herd and hope for the best. And I would say on that one, I'm torn on this because you can make money with it. A lot of people that got in early did, but it's not sound behaviors, not sound habits to be getting into. It works
great 6 months out of 4 years.
Exactly.
It will wreck you the other 42 months.
Well, and if you're trying to build something long-term, if you're trying to change your life, if you're trying to change your family tree, build long-term wealth, you're not going to do it making stupid choices like that. At some point, the number one thing you can do is learn to think for yourself. And if you're not thinking for yourself, you're not going to be able to recreate those things, when that pump group that you're in disappears 2 years later or 6 months later or whatever, to DZ's point. So there you can, because I like to listen. You can have advisors, have smart confidants, people that you respect their opinion and you can take their opinion in and value it, but you should still always follow that up with your own research. So, I would say that. Don't look at like, oh, hey, there's 1,000 people on TikTok talking about this new coin I've never heard of before. I better buy it quick, and hope for the best, because again, that's how you're going to get wrecked, 70 to 75% of the time. Anchoring bias. Now, this is one we notice a lot when people look at the price of Bitcoin, and that's the first thing they've heard of, and then start comparing everything to Bitcoin. This is a tendency to rely too heavily on the first piece of information we receive, is known as anchoring, and it can have a major influence on decisions we make. First piece of information being like, oh, what's the price of Bitcoin is $16,813 right now. You're going to let that anchor your perception of the value of a specific coin, and when you hear something else is just $1, that anchoring bias is really going to throw it off when you're not taking into account the total supply and a lot of different factors. And this is something, I'm sure you see it a lot with NFTs, right, DZ, where people, they've got their anchoring, NFTs are all super expensive, right? They've got Bored Apes and CryptoPunks, and that's people's anchoring bias when it comes to NFTs. They don't realize there's a whole other world of...
and they burn down the rainforest.
Yeah, and that's another good anchoring bias you could refer to for Bitcoin or NFTs or blockchain in general, that anything that touches blockchain is bad for the environment because they heard that one piece of information, and it might have been somewhat true in context or out of context, but now they've let that shape their entire narrative. It says once that first piece of information or anchor is established, our brain makes decisions based on it. Whether right or wrong, investors can stick too closely to their early projections, even when new information comes to light. Another example of this would be XRP, not the XRP token not being needed on the XRP network. They changed that years ago, but people have still latched onto that first piece of information. And so all of these things, I would say, are very important to keep an eye on when you're investing in crypto, and check yourself, because they're very easy. These are just cognitive. This is things your brain will do naturally. So you can slide back into any of these, whether you're investing in crypto, stocks, flipping sneakers, anything. The narrative bias refers to inclination to interpret information as part of a larger story, regardless of whether the facts support the entire narrative or not. Now this
Elon and Doge.
Yeah, Elon and Doge, exactly. There's a lot of them, and this is something I can fall prone to a lot. I like looking at macroeconomic, major narrative kind of things. So, El Salvador just did this, immediately means it's going to do that. I'll fall into that all the time, or following those connections. And all of these things, part of why they can be such negative things is you can have some success with them. Just like anything, like you can have a narrative bias that plays, Doge pumped and I made money on it and it played out because Elon Musk tweeted blah, 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 but it doesn't mean it's going to continue to play out the more you do it. So that's what's dangerous with all of these things, the narrative bias being one of them. And then obviously confirmation bias, you guys hear this referred to a lot. People prefer to seek out and pay attention to information that confirms their existing beliefs. So if you think Bitcoin's bad, if you think NFTs are bad, you're going to go out looking for an article that says that.
Or Twitter followers like a Hex community, you'll see, you'll curate, everybody is very, very positive on Hex, or you'll curate the exact opposite. And then you don't really get any kind of nuanced view.
Another thing people refer to is the echo chamber. You hear a lot where you gather the information you want to hear and it confirms.
Yeah, I watch Rachel Maddow every day. Yeah. My version of reality is correct versus the other person. Oh, what are you talking about? I watch InfoWars. You can't be more wrong.
Yeah, right. Or just, the Bitcoin, you got a lot within maximalism versus non-maximalism, I guess you could say. And, it can turn into a bit of an echo chamber where new ideas get rejected. And that's one of the number one ways I would say, like, you're leaning into either a community that's biased or confirmation bias yourself. If you're not open-minded about ideas that are counter to what you're thinking, that's a pretty good way to realize you're establishing a very strong bias, and it can work against you. You don't have to always agree with the information, but if you can take it in and process it and understand it and come to understand how somebody else might have that way of thinking, even without agreeing with them, it can be very valuable for you to understand kind of the broader scope of all those sort of things. So, would you guys, BJ, or any comments on any of those?
I know it's blatantly obvious to everybody in this room, but this is almost like a mantra most people probably need on their wall. It's like, this is how people should learn to think.
Right.
Life is about adaptation and evolution. That's exactly what this is leaning toward.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and
Thought exercises.
and it comes back to the same thing I was saying with the AI stuff at the beginning. We all critical thinking skills is probably going to be one of the top skills you can develop going into 23, 24, 25 and beyond, because you're going to be getting bombarded with more and more information, and it's going to be up to you as the user to decide for yourself, is this accurate information? Is this real information? Can I act on this? Can I trust this? And you're going to be getting all sorts of different sources, and you're going to have to check your sources, check their biases, check your biases, and run it all through kind of a filter of your own critical thinking. And if you're not building on that right now, you're going to find 10 years from now, you're going to find yourself really far behind, in my opinion. Because
one of the quickest ways I typically piss off somebody when I'm having an actual intellectual debate is asking them what their source is.
Yes.
Watch how quickly people get very angry with you when you say that.
Yeah, because it's like, well, I saw it somewhere. I don't know, a tweet. Somebody tweeted it. It's got to be true. So
what is this based on?
So anyway, keep those behavioral things in mind. It's going to be very valuable as you move into the future and start trying to jump those gaps of wealth, right? And climbing this ladder. I thought this is kind of unrelated. It's a rough transition. I just thought it was kind of interesting. This guy, or I'll retweet.
No. This is a rough transition.
Yeah. Oh no, that was cool. Do that again.
Terrible.
That was
I'm never
sick. It
doing
made
that
me look
again.
smart, like I was doing the numbers thing
Oh, yeah.
from the
And real quick,
I was
just gonna say, and real quick, if people, I mean, you hear that, do your own research all the time,
Whoa.
and the critical thinking part that comes from you doing your own research is the fact that you're taking in the knowledge and you're getting to decipher what's what. But when you just listen to everyone on the surface, like if I was just to watch, BitBoy Crypto or Altcoin Daily or one of these other channels all the time and getting that surface information and just going by what everyone says, then I could go a year, 2 years down the road and still only be surface deep into the knowledge that I retained. If you're just always constantly doing that. But what I've found, if I'm actually doing the research, I'm retaining the knowledge. It's something that I found that I dug up myself, so it's more liable to stick into my head.
right.
It's why the math teacher made
Yeah.
you do those problems at home.
Over and over again.
One, and I would hope, to your point, when you're doing your research, what it's supposed to be doing is piquing your curiosity, right?
Yeah.
Like we're covering broad information, like here's the news, here's what's going on, and we might talk about, hey, this Project Matic just did X, Y, something interesting. I almost said XYZ, but I didn't want to. It has nothing to do with the other project XYZ, but this Project Matic just did something, and then you're like, oh man, I want to read more about that. Let me go look at what this partnership is. What is this bridge? What are they doing with Disney? What are they doing with Starbucks? And then it's like, oh man, that sounds really awesome.
Everyone's.
Go ahead.
But when I was going to say, and that's where it was frustrating for me when I first came into the space, is everyone's saying do your own research. It's like, okay, how?
Right.
Where do I do the research?
It is
I
tough.
always encourage everyone, read the white papers of the project. Start there. See where that takes you.
Versus getting the confirmational bias, like when you're reading, it's
Yeah.
like, oh, they're doing something with Disney. What are they actually doing? They're doing something with Disney.
It
Yeah,
could
well,
be a
yeah,
flop.
things are
And
going
next
We
thing
have
you
this issue of technical geniuses aren't often going to be marketing geniuses, and so that's going to be a main issue of crypto. I see it a lot with NFTs. It's like, well, I want to know, what do I do when I get this NFT, and it's like community members saying, get in the Discord and do your own research. I'm like, I'm asking you now on Twitter, can you give me a link? Like,
Right.
you can't even give me a link, and it's there's a little bit of disconnect there between communication and technical prowess.
Yeah, well, and we even try to do that on this channel. Guys, if you in the chat want to drop anything in there, where that's BS, TJ. They want you to.
Oh,
give
he's
them-
messing with you.
Gotcha.
He's
Yeah, drop. I mean, I know we talk about DApp Radar a lot. Obviously, Coin Market Cap, you can get a ton of information. Glassnode is great for watching just pure data inflows and outflows. I mean, there's tons of other ones. DeFi Llama, you can watch a lot of different metrics and statistics on different projects. So Santiment, another great one that we use all the time. But and I know A16Z on their website, they've got a long wiki. We're building a lot of this out on BitLab Academy as well to just give you a resource dump of like, hey, here's all kinds of videos and free information, stuff you can watch. I mean,
That is very helpful.
YouTube, obviously, there's tons you can watch. I mean, anything Andreas Antonopoulos. I mean, books I would highly recommend starting with the Internet of Money Volume 1, Internet of Money Volume 2, Digital Gold, Bitcoin Standard. All of those are great places to start, and you'll
And
learn
then
a lot.
Dune, so you can learn about fear and how
And
it's
then
the mind.
Dune. Yeah, I was gonna read. Somebody put the full quote up there. I was
did.
gonna read it.
It's not even the best quote.
All right, what's the best quote, BJ?
I can't quote it. It's really.
Come on, you're killing me.
I'll bring it here. I'll look for it.
All right, find it.
Continue.
We will. Let's see. This was just something I thought was interesting. I don't have too much to say about this stat here, but this is how much income you need to reach the top. Different percentages. This is based on annual income, U.S. IRS in 2017. So I'm sure it's pretty different now in 2022. But I just thought you got to basically, to be in the top 1%, you need to make $500,000 a year. To be in the top 0.1%, you need to make 2.3 and 0.01, 12 million. So it's interesting. Top 10%, 145, 20. These numbers are skewed. I'd be interested to see if we could get an updated one for 2022 to see, I bet 100K is going to be more like top 40% now because we've almost doubled the money supply since 2017.
I found the quote.
All right, what's the quote, BJ?
All right, this is one of my favorite ones personally. Is the mystery of life isn't a problem to solve.
You got to put yourself on the screen.
Oh my God, nobody wants to see my face.
I do.
I do. Whenever I watch, I always do.
Yeah, this is actually my favorite shot on the whole show because it actually. Oh, look, you can see the wife Israel. See, kick your feet. Yeah.
Oh wait, yeah, there she is, right there.
All right, go ahead. What's the quote?
The mystery of life isn't a problem to solve, but a reality to experience. A process that cannot be understood by stopping it. We must move with the flow of the process. We must join it.
Go with
But
the
I've
flow.
always loved that quote.
Yeah,
I mean,
let's just go with
here's
the
my
flow.
cool. But
Household or single? It looked like household. I was wondering the same. I was kind of guessing. I
Based
guessing
on
household.
annual U.S. IRS
Guessing
2017,
household.
it would probably be household data. I would assume.
Yeah, pretty sure.
DZ, this is from Ice Bubble 01. How do you feel about the market of NFTs?
I think time frame of the next 1 to 3 years, it is a good investment. Bitcoin does hit 12K. Everything's going to bleed against them. So, you might gain a little Solana, a little Cardano, a little ICP, whatever, but fiat value is probably going to go down. Looks like it is kind of similar to the tech industry. It doesn't appear that the market can sustain 8 chains worth of NFTs, but it's probably only going to sustain 3 or 4.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Still good investments. The next Bored Ape probably hasn't been minted yet.
And that's three or four chains, not 3 or 4 projects, right? That you're referring to?
Yeah, chains.
Like,
chains.
yeah, not
and there's
necessarily
still flips.
ecosystems.
There's still flips and minting, but the speculation, it's going to be a lot harder. When crypto goes down, it's a lot harder, but there's always going to be money in minting new projects because there's always a new, flavor of the week.
Yep, exactly. And that's true with crypto too. There's always, that's what I say,
Yeah.
especially in an uptrend, there's always going to be something hot. We're going to look at it a little bit towards the end of the show. There were projects this year that did even in 2022 when we fell from 69K or approximately 60K all the way to 15 and change or 16. It's easier for me to just say from 60 to 16, but approximately there were still some that performed favorably in that market. We're going to look at those at the end of the show and kind of talk about how we can find some of those for 2023.
But, on the other side of that coin, you don't want to chase these Telegram group pump and dumps. I've seen a little bit more of it now on my Twitter timeline, and I feel the FOMO, but I know I'm smart enough now to I'm not going to chase some Telegram group, but people who are newer to the space, they probably will chase those little Telegram groups. So be careful. I don't know if now is the time to make money. It's a lot harder during the bear market, and we don't want to push any of that stuff because those coins, it's more like there's a net negative,
Yeah.
Ben's
essentially.
gonna get blamed for it.
I'm okay telling people to buy Bitcoin, knowing, hey, maybe it is going to go down over 6 months, 12 months, but 10 years from now, you're going to be thanking me. So if 10 years from now, you're not going to be thanking me, I think I speak for TJ too. We're going to be a lot more uncomfortable saying, hey, we like this project.
Yeah, and that goes back to a lot of the stuff we were just talking about. Don't follow that herd mentality. Just because you hear a bunch of people jumping on it and you're thinking, I can jump on, I can not be the last one on, and I can play this hot potato game. You can do that, and I don't fault anybody for attempting. If you're young and you're trying to, especially if you're trying to flip $100 or very small amounts into something meaningful,
Gamble.
Yeah,
go ahead.
You can take those shots, and like I said, I don't fault anybody, especially young people, for being extremely high risk. I've known people that have done it and done well. Now, are they still in it and are they still doing well? The answer is no. The answer is hard no. And that's generally what I've seen happen is people jump in, they play around, they make a little bit of money. It's like, man, I took $1,000 into 22,000, and then a year goes by and they've lost it all.
Well, it's like, well, what did you do? Oh, yeah, the next time I put in 22,000. Be like,
Right.
wait, you didn't put in 1,000 and
No.
set aside 21,000?
Right.
No, I was betting with 100% of my bag every time.
Right.
And eventually you're going to get wrecked and lose 89, 95%.
Yeah, you gotta be careful. Also, welcome Squatting Slave 90. Welcome to the chat.
Slav.
Slav. Oh, okay. I thought there was an E in there.
you know about the Slav squat, right?
No.
I'll pull up memes.
Like, you got the Adidas
Slavic
tracksuit.
squat, yeah,
You're
yeah.
like,
That's Nick's specialty. He does it once a month.
Yeah.
He comes in the squat.
Yeah.
See, Kelly and Kellum NYC, I made 70K, then lost 68K, then took a
Yeah.
deep breath and started over with more risk management patience. Yeah, that's the number one. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's the fastest way to learn. It's an expensive way to learn, but you're gonna remember. You're gonna learn when you watch it go all the way up and watch it go all the way down. You're gonna take more profits next time. You're gonna be like, you know what? Last time I felt like this, I didn't take profits, and I really wish I did. 2 months later.
me,
So,
2021.
there you go. There's the squat, the Slavic squat
Slav
there
squat.
for squatting Slav 90. Is that Nick? Is it? I don't know. Real Crypto Stevo, how can I tell if these Polygon NFT airdrops
Scam.
in my ledger are legit or scams?
Scam.
It's a scam.
Scam.
How do you know?
It always is.
They're always
You'll
scams.
never. It'll never not be a scam.
But how?
'Cause I've been in it. I've never got anything that's not a scam. The only thing I've gotten maybe it wasn't a scam is like free sandbox shoes, and it's not even worth interacting with it because it's 70 cents. Oh no, now it fell to 20 cents.
Wait,
Guess
is this
what? No one's
confirmational
buying it
bias?
anyways, and so just don't interact with it. Just it's going to be crap. Trust me, if it was something good that was worth $100, $1,000, $20,000, you will know because it'll be all over their Twitter.
That is
Everyone's
true.
going to be talking about it. It's not just gonna, oh yeah, they just decided to drop it in my wallet at 3 a.m. Let me click this link. 100% of the time, it's a scam. Just always assume it's a scam.
Yeah.
Derek Alien Taco said anyone can send anything to your public address. So most NFTs on Polygon are scams because it's basically free to send it out.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now, and to DZ's point, this can be said for this used to be really common back in the day with Bitcoin forks, where somebody would fork Bitcoin, you got to go here to claim your airdrop
Yeah.
tokens,
No,
and then
link
you
your
get
Bitcoin
wiped out.
wallet.
You get, and then, but anything that was relevant, Bitcoin Cat, there's a handful that it did make sense to go claim, and you'll hear everybody talking about it. So like Uni token, a lot of people did really well on Uniswap when they airdropped that. If you were using a MetaMask wallet before the Uni token existed, they airdropped it to every wallet that had already interacted. So if you had 8 wallets, like some people, did several $1,000s worth of Uni because obviously it did really well right after it airdropped as well. There's been a couple of them like
Twitter
that. But
search function's your best bet. Don't use Google. You will get tricked into a scam. It's a Twitter search function because TJ brings up a good point. Sometimes coins are dropped, and I've definitely gotten a lot of coins. Blur.io is the last one I got, and I just went on Twitter. There's people I respect. Okay, there's smart people talking about it. Okay, Kobe
Just follow the
tweeted
herd.
about it. All right,
follow the herd, yeah.
Just follow the herd. But no, with your curated list of people that you do trust, that's when it's good. But
Well,
that's doing your own research.
yeah, and that was the point I was making. Having advisors and people that you trust within the space that you're going to check your information against is a way of doing your own research, and it's not following the herd. So that
Well, what should he do with it, by the way?
with the NFT,
Ignore it, hide
don't click it. Yeah,
Yeah,
don't look,
don't click it.
Hide
Because
don't
it?
claim it. Right?
Okay.
the way that I like to describe some of those is like, how like Walmart you go to Walmart.com and you have a bunch of third-party sellers on there that you can't control what they do or what they charge or what they're gonna do. It's kind of the same thing. Some of them are scams on there, honestly, but for whenever they scam people, then they're sifted out by Walmart because obviously Walmart doesn't want them on there. But that's just like a lot of the people sneaking into the wallets and dropping stuff in your Ledger wallet. Like, hey, how did they get this? It must be legit because it's Ledger. It's not Ledger.
See, I need to move your. I don't know what you're talking about there. Crypto
Cryptologic?
Yeah, it sounds like a scam.
Yeah, they had. I mean, MetaMask airdrop. I don't know anything what you're talking about. So, all right, we're gonna move on here. This was an interesting graphic I saw. KimchiBlock.algo post. The big question as of late is where are we now? And we'll move it down here. So we've got this is a different version of it's the S curve. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen the traditional markets where you got fear, euphoria, all this kind of stuff, anxiety, denial, fear. This is just a general S curve version of it. Obviously, we're somewhere between panic and relief, I would assume. Where would you guys put, like, DZ, where would you say we are on
I'm
this?
going to go ahead and say it is discouragement.
I was right there
I
with
think
you.
that every bear market, we're going to have less people wash away and give up. And so every bear market is going to feel less of panic, less discouragement. So to the critics who will say, yeah, I was here last time and it doesn't feel that bad, I think it will feel less bad every single bear run. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm going to go out on a limb and say I think it's discouragement.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit lower. I don't think 9K though.
I
I
think
feel like
maybe it'll happen.
we're
Who knows?
between capitulation and discouragement is my feeling.
So you'd say more like right here, feeling
Somewhere
like
in
you
there,
think
yeah.
we got a little bit further for
Yeah.
people to go to
Well,
really
would that
shake out.
imply that you think this is the bottom?
Well,
that's actually a good question because if the capitulation already happened, then we're at the bottom, right?
Well, according to this, it says it goes, they've got capitulation a little bit lower before,
Yeah.
so, I mean, I'd say if you think we're between capitulation and discouragement, you think we've got a little lower to go. If we're kind of at discouragement, we're pretty near the bottom.
Yeah.
I think
Very near the bottom.
anxiety to fear was like pre-Celsius, and then after that happened, when FTX happened, that was probably despair.
So where do you put
where people
Celsius?
are desperate? Like,
Yeah,
what the
That's a
heck?
good question
Flip
to
back to
figure
that
out
real
today.
quick.
So to figure out today, where is Celsius?
Celsius to
me,
me
that's
is
despair.
anxiety denial.
I would
Honestly,
say lower. I would say fear.
really.
I would say that the day it happened, that's
I would
the
say
fear
before.
dot.
I'm talking about before. So before, when it happens, that's what brought us to fear. Afterwards, I would say FTX brought us, honestly, to probably despair and panic. Even though that's recent, I figure a lot of people have that mindset because they're like,
I think we were
even though
probably,
I think we're more in discouragement right
I think
now.
we were in denial before Celsius.
Yeah.
Like we were on the way down, just following the
true.
typical markets, and people were still out there saying, it's not going to be that bad. We're not going to go as low. There's too much adoption. We were in denial of the just traditional.
Yep.
And then I think Three Arrows Capital, Celsius kind of struck some fear, and people like, oh wow, this could be bad. And then FTX was kind of panicked. All the talk about contagion, in my opinion, pushed us to capitulation, miners having to sell.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm gonna go back even further. Ukraine is like anxiety.
Yeah,
all-time top is November. Ukraine, I think, is February-ish, and so it's like we're on the way down, but we just got a little anxiety. Like maybe we will
there's
go back
definitely
up.
a few
I'm
things that
feeling
help
anxious.
push us off the
Yeah.
ledge. I think.
Was there a black swan event that made BTC go from 6 to 3K last bear? I mean,
COVID.
2020, March 2020. If that's what you're referring to, that would have been the COVID crash.
The other one felt like
be
it's
the
just a slow
lockups.
and steady bleed.
but the other one, it hit I think
The
3,800 in December 2018, I believe, and there wasn't really a black swan at that time. It
Yeah,
was
that
just
was just
a
like a
typical
slow and
market.
steady.
So yeah, I would agree. I think we're probably right around discouragement, which is why you get some people lean like a little bit lower, and then a lot of people are saying it's generally this is close enough to the bottom to
The
start.
unfortunate
accumulating.
thing is most people aren't going to start getting back until after optimism.
It's true,
Yeah.
or relief. I mean, realistically, what I tell people for the most part, the number one time you want to, like, if you're trying to sell near bottoms and buy near tops, you really want to be looking at between hope and relief to make your major entries. Like, yeah, of course, if you get in right here, you're going to crush it. You're going to be really happy you're getting in at dismay. But if you want to what we were talking about earlier, minimize downside risk.
Yeah.
Now you've seen enough. Okay, like we're starting to go up. We're clearly going up. We're moving towards relief. This is, say, what I would say like a $2,000 Ethereum, or when you start seeing Bitcoin move up above 20K or even above 28, like that's when you're starting to
say
get
about
into this
24.
range.
All right, hold up. Logic. You're not a nutbag. The MetaMask thing, that's been a rumor that's going around like 18 months. I was just kind of joking when I said scam. You're not a nutbag, Logic. You're logical. But no, I don't think MetaMask is dropping. Someone else said it. Probably not a smart move during the bear market. But I will say this about MetaMask. As they get tighter with consensus, I feel like the odds of an airdrop decreases. Or as you start to see consensus is playing the traditional finance games, getting those good connections, getting a little bit more of a, less degen.
Yeah, they won't launch a token, in my opinion, until there's more regulatory clarity, because they're too tied
That
to
too.
big traditional players that they're not going to risk having an unlicensed security sale on their hands right before they get the clarity. So I think if we see something happen in 2023 that shores up that framework and they know there's a way they can do it
And that might not happen for Americans.
it might not. And that's something
You better have that VPN ready.
right. And that's that 20. That's what I think 2023 is going to be all about: regulation and what the big players are able to do versus not able to do. Corey Harden says, "I still believe we will never go under 47K again."
He said 10 years from now.
What? Where?
Just right under that.
Oh, 10 years from now. Yeah, good job, Corey. That's an inside joke for those of you guys who don't know of a tweet when we were going up the first time when Ben was saying he doesn't think he's never going below 47 again.
I remember that. I remember that.
29.
Yeah, 29. A lot of people did. A lot of people said
Never below.
I felt very strong that it wasn't going to go below 20. If I had to
Yeah.
pick a number, I would have said 20.
Yeah.
And here we are. So and again, guys, I say this a lot, but let that be an encouragement to you that you're not out of time, that there is going to be more time. You are going to get another chance to make an entry into this market.
We're still so early.
Yeah, we are. We're early in the transition. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to take if we were talking about earlier today that it could take 10 years for us to really see metaverse play out, which is really, in my opinion, the next evolution of social media.
That's going to be 7 to 10 years from now, I think.
And I think it's going to take, if what the world we all imagine where all of this stuff is happening on the blockchain, I think it's going to take at least 5 years to get the majority of financial transactions on the blockchain. I think it's going to take probably about 5 years to get a lot of blockchain or supply chain transactions on the blockchain. And then all the other things will cascade and cascade. I think it's going to be 25 years from now is when we're all old is when it's going to be what we're picturing in our heads. That being said, the biggest opportunity is going to be right here at the very beginning, and that window is closing. So if you think about the people who did best on the internet, 95 to 2005 were probably your best times to get in on internet plays. Not saying there wasn't many more for years, like still happening today. There's still new internet companies that IPO that make a lot of money. But that being said, the big money was made, very early on. And that's obviously what we're all leaning towards today.
What would you say, I guess, the comparison of like the roaring 20s going into the Great Depression? I guess, would you consider like kind of adoption and investments? People that have said like it's super early still, but it's like the roaring 20s. Like you haven't missed the boat as far as if you had to, like, I guess.
Well, there's a little bit of a divergence there, in my opinion, between crypto and traditional assets, because a lot of people would make the argument this last 20 years or 40 years of printing money and positive
was the roaring 20s.
And we're about to go into the Great Depression as a
I think
nation.
we're in the roaring 20s of the digital age.
As a digital age.
Is what I meant, sorry.
Well, no, I mean, but the question is, could that complete fall off of traditional markets that sends us into a Great Depression today kickstart the new, the kind of digital revolution moving into the 2020s? That's remains to be seen. And that's what, again, all of us are leaning on and hoping that, Bitcoin becomes the hedge and everybody runs to digital assets and everybody's trying to, make money in this new economy because the economy that they're in right now isn't serving them, but we haven't seen that yet. And we don't know that we will. And so far, Bitcoin has only been in a favorable monetary policy environment. So I think next year is when we really, obviously this year we've seen, that switch, but it's also in line with the Bitcoin bear market. The real question is going to be the next, really, in my opinion, 2 to 3 years. Will the stock market continue to plummet? Will crypto go up on its traditional 4-year cycle like it's supposed to? Or will we see, divergence, or maybe they both come up? We'll see.
I have a question from the chat. Riddled with Puns said, what are the purpose of wallet tokens? Like, what does TOT and math do?
I don't know.
To enrich the founders. That's the real answer, is to enrich the founders. And then they give away 15% of equity into their, or most of the scam ones. I wouldn't consider Uniswap under this umbrella, but I
wouldn't put Trust token in there. TWT's Trust Wallet token. I think generally speaking, it depends on how the wallet works. So you don't have to have a token to do a wallet, but if you're trying to do anything as it relates to DeFi, and Trust Wallet token is TW. Yeah, it is. There are most of the time, generally the utility is lower transactions. It's generally,
I guess my point is there's nothing added for the user. Like, it doesn't make, like, sure, you could say if you have this coin now your transactions are cheaper. It doesn't make the user experience any better. So that's why I mean it's mostly to enrich the founders. It's not making the product better. It's diverting energy into some other weird thing that's like convoluted financial landscape for something that should just be a wallet. It's most of the time it's going to be to enrich the founders. I'm just being pessimistic and realist here.
I think I would agree or disagree.
It better? It doesn't make Trust Wallet better, is what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, I think a Uniswap or whatever, and obviously now again, it's not a wallet; it's an exchange. The Uni token was used to facilitate the swaps and reduce the fees, and without it, it would have been very difficult to provide the liquidity. So it was fairly necessary to make the product better. Again, that's an exchange, not a wallet. So I don't know too much about the Trust token wallet. I would assume it gives you cheaper transactions. I don't know if it has any other utility, but I would just be careful to blanket ban all of them, because BNB was another one that started as simply a lower transaction fees on an exchange and obviously has turned into a lot more since then. So, but I mean, I'm not going to hard disagree. A lot of times, yes, that can be true, but I would just say, again, look at what the product is, how the token's being used, and you'll have to just kind of decide for yourself. I don't know if they had, what was the other one? They mentioned math. I don't know what math
Yeah, I
is
don't know
or
math.
what that wallet it goes with. But that's actually, let's see, how much time do we have left?
Also, is Ray meme lording us? Economists have successfully predicted 11 of the last 5 recessions.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
just
yeah,
a
yeah,
joke.
yeah.
It's like crypto savvy. I joked that about him.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
like predicting.
Actually, not so much savvy, but Robert Kiyosaki.
No, you
Yeah,
use, you
he's
use
been
that.
pretty
That's,
right, though.
that's DZ's go-to joke every time Michael Burry comes up. You say that
Yeah.
every time Michael
Burry and
That's-
Kiyosaki, they're always
Yeah.
like, if you say doom and gloom, eventually you're right. Then you get brought on MSNBC. He's
Right.
so smart.
Yeah, well, and it's the Peter Schiff kind of mentality of like if you just say anti-Bitcoin stuff, you'll at least have 1 year where you look like a genius because your price is going to be falling every 3 to 4
Yeah.
years. So, little bit of a transition there. Because little segue on. I won't give it away, but top 5 crypto winners and losers of 2022. So Bitcoin and Ethereum. Not part of the surprising list of 5 and the worst performing cryptocurrencies of 2022. But what do you think performed well? Do we have any guesses before I go down this list?
Unfortunately, Matic. I'm kidding. Not unfortunate, but Matic.
Solana.
Wait, that's
No,
best or worst?
No, this is top performers.
Winners?
Winners.
And losers.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're
does it have,
starting with
yeah,
winners.
well, I'm going through the winners first.
Oh, winners.
So top 5 winners.
Matic.
Matic,
Matic for
and
sure.
I'm really struggling.
It's going to be tough. That's why I was curious because, obviously there wasn't a lot of winners this year.
There's that one
I'm gonna say
OBX.
I'm gonna say
I
his
think,
future
is doing
excitement
okay.
data, probably.
What's the one Johnny loves? Optimus? Optimum?
Optimism.
Optimus,
Optimism.
Arbitrum. He likes those.
They haven't been out long enough, I don't think, to
Optimism.
get enough of a pump. So, all right. One of them was one of the tokens. I was just curious if anybody would catch it. One of them is one of the tokens we were just talking about.
Yes.
Yeah. So, Cointelegraph looked back on the best and worst performing crypto projects of 2022 among the top 100 assets. We used the highest to lowest year-to-date returns, close of December 25th, 2022. So they did this as of Christmas. Overall coin index. So 100 best performing fell nearly 68%. So let's get it right here. So GMX, if you guys don't know, GMX is
GMX. That's what I meant, not OKX.
I knew that's
GMX,
what you meant.
Yeah.
Is a decentralized exchange. Obviously, it was new. It launched this year. It has a token. It's kind of like Uniswap, and it has performed very well. Obviously, with the flee from centralized exchanges, a lot of people looking for alternatives to trade on. One we've been playing with a lot here. If you guys haven't tested it yet, is Apex Exchange. It's created by the founders of Bybit. It is a decentralized exchange. It's no KYC and 100% self-custody. So you hold all of your funds the entire time. No worry to withdraw to self-custody because you have self-custody and there's liquidity and it works very well.
Yeah,
Good
if
user.
your business model is put centralized exchanges out of business, it's a great business model for the
Yes.
last 6 months of this previous year.
Yes, and I think they saw GMX come up. I think is it DXY is another one that's pretty common, and I think we're gonna see that trend continue going into 23 and 24. Like I've said this before, I wouldn't be surprised if this is Bybit's long-term play to have Apex Exchange take off, and then they just kind of completely back off of Bybit because way easier to do. Well, I wouldn't say easier, but you have a lot more options when you're dealing with something that's decentralized versus centralized. Riddlewood Punt says, I love GMX. It's a derivatives DEX. I staked their tokens. Yeah, check
Nice come
out
up.
Riddlewood Punts. Check out Apex Exchange. The link will be in the description and stuff, but I want to hear what you think about that as well because we've had a few people tested and said really positive things. So, and then number 2 is Trust Wallet token. Year-to-date returns 92%. Sector payment platform. Let's see if it says it's governance token within the Trust Wallet ecosystem. The token moved lower in tandem with the rest of the crypto market, mostly in 2022, but like GMX, its upside down momentum increased amid the collapse. Obviously, again, everybody withdrawing to its own exchange. Now, I don't know. I bet I use Trust Wallet a little bit. I bet again this would facilitate cheaper swaps within the wallet. It says governance token, so I don't know if maybe you would give you some voting rights on what the wallet supports and some of those sort of things. Again, that might.
So I am guilty with anchoring on Trust Wallet token. I am bearish on Trust Wallet token because if you go back to that chart, you can see that scam pump in November. That coincided
one
with
here?
Twitter news on the right.
No,
you can see
in
November.
November.
Yeah.
That coincided with Twitter news. So I was like, are these literally like idiots who pumped TWT because Twitter's in the news? So then it made me just bearish on TWT. I was like, I feel like idiots hold it. I don't know if that's true or
So
not.
you're saying you
I'm
thought basically-
anchored to this opinion though, and so
Right.
that's why I'm just
Meaning
I'm missing the boat.
the TWT ticker on the crypto
Yeah,
ticker
must be the
versus
Twitter coin.
The Twitter, yeah.
Like I think there's a lot of that happened, and then it pumped, and I'm like, oh god, it's a bunch of freaking idiots who are
Yeah.
gonna sell it when they realize, oh, this isn't Twitter, and so then it just made me not want to touch it with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah, that's interesting. And it looks like it's fallen about back down to where it
Now
was.
it's like they realized it wasn't Twitter. That's when I'll buy. Now I might buy. Who knows?
Which is still looks like where they're measuring it. They're measuring it to the top of this, whereas where they got that 92%. So they didn't even measure it all the way up to there. They're measuring as of that must be as of today because they pulled those. Yeah, so interesting. Now, Leo, another exchange token. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. The number 3 winner had a minus 3.5.
Yeah.
So there was only 2 winners.
Yeah.
There was only 2 coins that were up, so not surprised you guys couldn't pick them out. Leo, obviously, minus
totally missed the
3.5
question.
isn't a big run. It's very similar. And again, this will show why we get a lot of people still in the comments, guys. We'll see stuff saying, "Oh, you guys picked FTT as a good winner for 2022," and then later said you called it. Like we did. We said get rid of all your FTT in the middle. Just watch. But this is why, if you look at this list, so Leo, another exchange coin, GMX, decentralized exchange coin. OKB, another exchange coin, and number 5, this wasn't an exchange coin. So 3 of the top in Trust Wallet, you could argue similarly. So 3 of the top 5 performing in a bear market in 2022 were exchange transaction related coins that were giving you discounts for trade. So and FTT was originally kind of the up and coming exchange behind BNB. So for us to think FTT would perform well, it's not that much of a stretch. So just that was the logic there. Obviously, when we've learned everything going on with FTX, we pulled everything out of FTT. But that's something for you guys to keep an eye on. Not saying all exchange tokens will perform this well, but some of the best performers in bear markets have been exchange tokens starting with BNB. We saw this all through 2018, 2019. And then it continued its run through 2021 and 2022, performed extremely well. So, all right, what do you think now? And then Ton Network. This is one that's been getting a lot of interest recently. And I will say that actually of all of these top coins, most of the positive momentum, even like what DZ was referring to, was very recent. So it's had a huge fall, and then these are some of the first ones to kind of correct back up, which again kind of gives us, I don't want to say a hard stamp that we've hit the bottom, but that starts to show signs that we've bottomed when you start to see random alts.
2019, 2020 vibes almost.
Yeah.
Or it's almost 23.
Right.
4-year cycle. 3 years, 10 months.
Yeah.
It happens even sooner.
Okay, so you mentioned DZ. You mentioned Solana as a top loser for this year. Any other thoughts? Tokens? There's a couple.
Luna,
FTT,
Luna.
Yeah.
course,
That one's
FTT,
pretty
obvious,
like-
so.
FTT. We got
Terra
Luna.
Luna happened like 5 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't that 5 years ago.
It seems like it now.
Yeah, I think
honestly.
I was 7 when that happened. No,
I
so
was in 3rd grade.
yeah, you got it right. Worst 5 cryptos of 2022. Terra Luna coming in with a 99.99%
Bottoms
loss.
in. Buy.
Yeah,
That's a joke.
exactly. Yeah,
somebody
don't
got my
buy.
money.
$604 million market cap. It was, I think, $8 billion at one point, or maybe it was a lot more than that. So there's a drop for you guys there. If you want to see some
Axie on here.
crypto volatility, there it is. We've got FTT is number 2 with a 98% drop. Still trying to get rid of that last 2%. I'm sure that will happen soon. Let's see. We got some other. Let's see. Let us know in the chat. Yeah, before I reveal the next 3, we've got
Celsius token.
Cell token. Somebody says Drinky Boss says Safe Moon. Razmataz
Safe
says
Moon.
Axie. Curate says CRO.
About Axie?
Let's see.
Axie seems
It's been
like
a
it's
hell
on
of a
there.
year.
Let's see. Derek Taga says OKB's market cap is different on CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko. Yeah, so CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko, they use different sources. BitConnect. Now that would have been the 2018 biggest loser. Virtual Assistant VA. So part of what it is the restrictions on CoinMarketCap are, I believe, tighter than what it is on CoinGecko. So you'll get different,
Algo did hit pretty hard.
slightly different volume numbers, slightly different market cap numbers because it pulls from different APIs. So you'll notice volume's almost always higher on CoinGecko than it is on CoinMarketCap.
about
Algo,
Sand?
Wonderland, Sand. Yeah. So okay. So you guys have had some pretty good guesses. I missed the start. It's okay. It's all right. We don't play. Okay, so number 3, Solana. So we've got now
Sorry, I hate
FTT
Solana.
and Solana in the top 3, both very closely tied to Sam Bankman-Fried.
just,
So
like, go together.
bad year for SBF. In case you guys haven't figured that one out. Smart contract sector, market cap. I can't tell if this has got to be the peak market cap, right? That's not, or is it the current? Let's go look.
Nuts.
That's good. I mean, it's still pretty high up.
Yeah, it's still top 20, I believe.
Yeah, that's the current
Yeah,
4 billion. So there's
16.
still $4 billion in Solana, and there's still 300 million in
They're trying
FTT.
to build.
Yeah, are they?
No, they're
They say
migrating
they just
away.
found $1 billion
Axie.
somewhere.
Yeah, Axie Infinity. Somebody in the chat said it.
Yeah,
someone
yeah.
did.
Down
Oh.
93% year-to-date
That was
performance.
Razzmatazz.
Game, yeah. Well, some of these people might have found this article by now. So, sector gaming / metaverse. There's still 775.
He
This
cheated,
is
yeah.
another one that got caught up in this FTX Alameda stuff, where Alameda was pumping the crap out of Axie on the way up. So that's part of why it had such a hard correction. Here we are, right here. You know, and it just kind of all the way down. And this is oh, here, you guys can't see what I'm looking
Oh, no,
at.
there it
There
is.
you go.
Same.
We need the sound effect again,
Yeah, that was a good sound effect.
though. Hell yeah.
I'm gonna think about that now every time I look at a chart like that.
Oh, God, I showed the last answer.
Or the
Yeah, well, I mean, this is a good chart, and again, I'm not fudding Axie. I'm not saying it could never come back. This is probably actually closer to real market value of where it should be. But this is something for those of you that think, oh, it's down X amount, it's got to bounce from here. You know, this somebody right here saying, oh, it's due for a bounce right here. It's got to bounce right here. It's got to bounce right here. It's got to bounce, and then it just keeps going
Not only
down.
that,
and
they're
down.
like, I'm right.
Right.
Oh.
Exactly, and so again, like,
yeah, it bounced off the top resistance and went down.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
Me, 2020,
Got
21.
rejected is more like it. And so you're going to hear me say this a lot in 2023. Be very careful with mid to low range alts. Anything outside of the top 20. There's big opportunities to start accumulating in 2023, but a lot of the stuff you accumulate will probably not be good. So I'm just if you go in with that mindset, just keep it in mind, because it's I bought a lot of alts in 2019 and thought I was a genius, and you know which ones came back and stayed? Ethereum, Cardano, you know, things that were around before. I mean, Cosmos was new, Solana was new and I did well with, but again, I'm glad I got out when I did, you know, because if I sold all the Solana I had about 3 weeks before all that stuff broke on a totally random, just like, man, I'm tired of Solana. I want to do something else. So sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. I'll say that a lot too, because, you know, and that's why you just get in and do stuff, because
The day
sometimes
Ben
you're going to
said
get
something is
lucky
when I
in
sold
new
all mine.
opportunities. What's that?
The day when Ben basically called a bunch of stuff out is when
Oh, on the
I got rid
portfolio
of every-
video
yeah.
when we got rid of the Solana and we got rid of the
I
FTT.
literally just doink.
There you go. Well, and that saved you. Hopefully that saved you some money right there.
It
Because
did. I was still up pretty good though.
There you go.
I mean, I lost a lot compared to unrealized losses.
That's all
I guess you would
relative. We
say.
don't want to talk about our
Yeah,
losses.
yeah.
we're
Unrealized.
like gamblers and poker players,
Yeah.
right? Just talk about the winners. Nobody tells, you know, talk about when you came home from the casino up 22,000, not the time you lost 60K. You know, that's. No, I'm just kidding. We're great. We're great investors, guys.
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
great investors.
We're all good gamblers, Brian Emery.
Wow.
No, Brian's
He's
pretty
doing
good.
good. He's doing good.
Yeah, actually.
He is a good gambler. I don't know, but I wasn't referring to him. He generally
Except
does.
for play to earn. He's not the best at gambling on those.
Yeah.
but
Well, and to be fair, nobody
No,
did
no
well
one
on
did.
that in
No one did.
2022. So.
Brings us back to Axie Infinity.
Yeah,
I did
exactly.
well.
And here we are on the number 5 loser, Sand, down 92.5%. Now this is one there where I'm talking about might be worth keeping an eye on. Again, I think it will be back. There's a lot of big brands involved with it. There's a lot of development happening on it. Not a slam dunk, no guarantee, but as far as development from the beginning, Sandbox was here before the run up. I think they're going to be here after the washout, and they will be here for the next bull run. And so these are some of those kind of alts where it's like it's not something new and random and hot and flash and shiny. It's not, oh hey, look at that, what the heck?
What the fuck is he doing?
Yeah, they
Sorry.
can't see that, right?
No, they don't need to.
What is that?
That is Joel's.
All right, we are going to be rating Hit Gaming here pretty soon, and it looks like they're having a blast doing ridiculous stuff in Warzone. So, so these are some of the projects that I would say, and again, I'm not saying go hard on it now, but if you start to see it on the beginning of that uptrend, maybe when it, like, because it could still, even when it's down 92.5%, still could easily go down to
Let me say this about Sand, because I bash Sand a lot, and I know we all kind of have different viewpoints on it. I think Sand kind of reminds me of XRP. I think it will have a nice run up. It's down 95%, meaning 20x brings it to break even. And so I think, hey, there's a potential 20x on our hands. I just don't think it's going to overperform next bull run. So if you see me bashing it, it doesn't mean I don't think it can 20x. I'm just saying I don't think it's going to 100x. And I think maybe there is a metaverse coin that could 100x. I don't think Ape can. Its market cap is too high before someone tries to guess that.
Well, yeah, and there's a lot in Sand. There's a lot of inflation issues with a lot of these things to keep an eye on when it comes to, like token supply and tokenomics and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I think
And
a lot.
if you like Minecraft, by all means, get into it.
I
It's
think
just
a-
not for
No,
me.
Corey Harden goes, Sam being compared to XRP is enough of a bash, in my opinion. That was a good one.
I think a
I'm
lot
here
of the
for it, Corey.
Called.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the reason why people, or it might be going down more than a lot of people thought, maybe, is because of the average person of how they associate Sandbox. Like outside of it, they associate it with
Metaverse.
Meta.
Yeah.
With Meta, the actual company.
Yeah, I would
and
say that.
unfortunately, it's two different things, even though they're heavily involved with it. But the average person that's new to crypto or doesn't know much about crypto puts those two like this.
Yeah. I agree.
And
100.
they see it that way.
Yeah. I agree 100%. I think
And the only reason because there's such big money in it is because of why it's still relevant.
Yeah, well, and brand awareness is something I was going to touch on where I do agree metaverse in general, people got overhyped and it's fallen down, whether it's, traditional stocks, whether it's crypto related thing, Axie Infinity got crushed, gaming tokens in general have been hammered across the board. And I do think there's something big in both crypto and just in markets in general, name recognition and brand recognition when things do come back, when the markets do start pumping again. I think there's a pretty good chance that metaverse projects that got crushed here.
Look who it is.
We got a wild BitBoy appearing.
Whoa. I'm supposed to be shooting a video right now, but this sounded more fun.
Well,
Yay.
let me ask you this, because this you have an interesting take on this as from being around previous cycles. Projects that are like, we're talking about Sand as a potential to be here next cycle. Now it's down 92%, from the top. We're talking top losers from this year. Sandbox number 5 down 92%, only $690 million market cap right now. But it will still be here when the next market comes back. Has brand recognition. How strong of a factor does brand recognition have? Oh yeah, Ben in the house, Ben on the basement. Nakudo
Ben finally back in the basement.
Give me this, DZ. I got it, guys. This is not. This is
Sandbag.
not my first rodeo, guys.
No pun intended. I'm not trying to.
Not my first rodeo,
I'm not trying to
guys.
sand.
Okay, I don't need a sandbag. Okay, look. Somebody said I fell down the
Yeah,
stairs.
who pushed you down the stairs?
Who pushed
into
me
the
down the
basement?
stairs?
I heard
I'm
it.
recording a video over here in another
It's
studio.
probably
okay?
Justin Williams pushed him down the
Look,
stairs.
here's what I like to say on this, and then guys, I got to go record a video. I got a great video for you guys.
Yeah,
Tonight.
we were almost done, so it's perfect.
I know, it's perfect
yeah.
timing. So look, here's what I'll say: being down 92% is not a big deal. Okay, Algorand down 95%. Solana down 98%, I think.
Wait, we just looked at it. Hold on.
96% maybe.
93.3.
As of right now, was down a little bit more. Now that's year to date as well. But the all-time high might have been a little bit higher than that. But what I'll say is that's not a death sentence for Solana. The death sentence for Solana is what's going on with the freaking chain. Like that's what's the death sentence for Solana, and same Free's association with it.
Yep.
Cardano's down 92%, 91%. Okay, so don't get focused on the number and look at how far it's down. Look at the momentum and where it can go going forward. I think Sandbox. We haven't seen Sandbox in its full form yet, right? You look at something like Gala Games and you say, okay, well, Gala Games is down a considerable amount. What do they have? Well, they got all these different games. We got to see how all these different games play out. With Sandbox, it's just one thing. So once it fully rolls out with, I don't know what they'll call it, like. They have the Alpha 1, the Alpha 2, the Alpha
Alpha
3.
4.
What's past the Alpha, the full launch.
Right.
Once a full launch is out, then I think what you're going to see is it's going to do really well. And, I know our digital city in there is unbelievable. Everybody who I've showed it to is like, oh my gosh, can't believe what you guys built there. It's going to be really cool and people are going to really like it. And I think that Sandbox is the furthest ahead when it comes to metaverse. I think when you look at, here's one of the big things that people don't really consider, which is when you look at Otherside and ApeCoin, Otherside's a video game, guys. It's not a metaverse. You want to know why? It's not user-generated maps. Like you have to be able to build your own stuff on there. Otherside has found a way to shortcut that and kind of sell property that's already built. Okay. In Sandbox, you have to build from the ground up.
So much.
Yeah, it's so much. You have no idea. And so the amount of work that people have to put into it to make it worth it means that these lands are going to be really sweet when they're done. And I think it's going to be a really great playing experience. And like with our BitBoy character, like BitBoy can actually fly, which is really cool in Sandbox. He moves like a regular character, but instead of stepping, he flies. And so there's a lot of really cool intricacies you can do in there. I think Sandbox has got a lot of prospects for the future. And, I'm still bullish on Sandbox. I haven't backed down a single bit. And how far it goes down, well, that just means you get better accumulation points. And something else to think about here when you're looking at some of these coins that have very high spikes, Sandbox peaked in November, right? It actually, do you remember when it peaked? It peaked when we were on that hunting trip for them sandhill cranes we never saw. We saw one about 7
They're
miles
still
away.
a couple miles away.
Yeah. They said they'll call us when they show up. But the whole thing is, it peaked then. CRO is another one that peaked then. It peaked at the peak of the overall market. And so some of those projects hadn't had that last big run up yet. And so the fact it had the big run up at the end of the market and then it got crushed, that means it's going to be down a higher percentage than the ones that did not do that. What are they commenting?
I'm just laughing at Corey. He asked for our thoughts on GamerCoin.
Gamers.
That was good, Corey. Corey's
Get rid of that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I gotta go shoot another video. I'll see y'all. Thanks, bye.
Yeah.
Peace
Bye,
out.
Ben.
The new thanks, Ben. Yeah. The new
good,
typo
easy.
trader.
Wait, who was that?
Have you or anyone? I've never. Ray is a stablecoin purely backed by ETH and ETH only. Cool concept and it's vitality. I have not looked into that. It doesn't really make sense if it's only backed by ETH. What's the point? You know, I guess it's a stablecoin on the ETH now. I want to say I have heard of that actually. But no, I don't really know too much about it. Not enough to comment about it. I'd say just be careful with new stablecoins in general, unless,
good advice.
especially if they're algorithmic. I tend to hang out with USDC, so that's just my take on it. But yeah, so what he was saying was right in line with what I'm saying. Don't get shaken out by big drops. Don't even get scared if it goes from 92 to 94 or 95. Many alts had 97% drawdown in the 2018-19 market from their 2017 peak. So, but what you're looking for is the ones that are going to come back. And to DZ's point, you don't need them to go back to all-time highs. You need them to go back up dramatically from where they are right now. So if the speculation from metaverse, it will return just like the speculation in crypto will return. And when people are buzzing about metaverse again and you're starting to see those things pump, people are going to remember Sandbox. They're going to remember Snoop Dogg. They're going to remember what else is in there? Walking
Playboy,
Dead.
Gucci, Walking Dead.
There's all sorts of big brands that have aligned with it. And I think brand recognition and name recognition will matter when all that stuff
And to
comes
Ben's
back.
point, they actually did, him and TJ, they got all these weird Sandbox partnerships before Gucci, before Playboy, before all these other brands, Walking Dead. So they actually do have cool exclusives.
Yeah, we do have some really
Like,
cool.
they're giving away too much stuff. They didn't know like Gucci would be there a year later. So they're like, here, BitBoy,
Yeah.
take all this awesome stuff. Then they're like, oh my God, we just gave away all the cool stuff to Ben. And now Gucci's here. We don't have anything cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ben's like flying
got
around.
insane
and there are
amounts of
like
land.
cool exclusives.
They are, and like we've got some missions and some achievements. We've actually got
Their mistake.
some token integrations where you can collect different things in there, which is pretty cool. A lot of fun stuff. And I think to Ben's point, most of what's cool in Sandbox hasn't even rolled out yet. You can't even really play it unless you're a DJ and you're in the beta, whatever. So they're only opening up really select areas. So I think we'll see that change over time. But I think that's pretty much all we have time for today. I did have another chart that I thought was interesting, but we'll touch on that a little bit more tomorrow about mining, where we've got the average cost of mining. You know, obviously low spot price is lower than the average cost, but you can see, you know, very other points in time when the cost of mining is lower than the spot price is generally also very much marked bottoms, which is really interesting. So there's been multiple times. So the article is talking about how miners can't afford this, but there's been multiple times throughout
They're like,
history
yeah, okay.
where they've done it in the past. I mean, right here in 2019 that we talk, I mean, almost all of 2019, you know, it was right at that same level, but the price, that yellow line here is the price of Bitcoin. The blue line is the cost to mine it. And then boom, it starts running up, and then whoo, you get that huge run up. So we could see, you know, it could settle back down. Now, obviously the gap's getting a little bit bigger, but you'll see, you know, price drop and then boom, hash rate drops almost immediately following it. So I think we'll see this section here start to look a lot like this section here, which, you know, is super boring, but then what comes after? We get the fun stuff. So we'll tie in and talk about this a little bit more tomorrow. Big shout out to everybody joining us today. DZ, thanks for joining us. Everybody was saying you were making them feel cold. You know, it must be really cold down here in the basement. And
It is
Derek,
cold. I can confirm.
Big Squad member OG, always fun to have you guys here with us. We had the cameo
thanks for
from Ben.
having
We
us.
got BJ on the board. Ali, of course. We got Crimson Caravan, Casino Doggy, Crypto Thorn, Riddle with Puns, Joey, Manly Crypto, Chillgasm, Crypto Thorn again. Mikey Kaz, Razmataz, Shoots Girl. We're going to be rating Hit Network Gaming, having a lot of fun. When I was walking in here, he just wrapped up his 3rd straight win, I think, on Fortnite. So 3 in a row. So they're playing pretty good today. Give him some love. Hang out with him. If you guys are on your crypto holiday, thank you, or on your holiday vacation, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We love talking crypto in the basement with you guys. We'll be here tomorrow.
Stream Snipe Joel.
Go get him.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Yep.
Hug your family.